Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just get back to framing really quick. There was, I think overall, we did vote on this in June. So right now, what we are considering are the parameters of the freeze. So the people who stated that are correct. What we're looking at is the specific policy points that will go into this freeze while we have the longer discussion, which will hopefully include as many landlords as possible and as many renters and homeowners in solidarity as possible. I just want to make a few points because, like I said, most of the other people made a lot of the points I wanted to make, and it is Tuesday. The first thing I would like to say, which is slightly different than the way other people have been saying it, but nothing in this ordinance forces landlords to raise the rent. Nothing. I just want to put that out there. That's not true. If you choose to raise the rent after this goes through, that's your choice. The other point I want to make, as someone who is very privileged to be serving the community of Culver City, but also working a full-time job and just completed my first semester back in my doctorate program at USC, is that renters work hard too. Also, this is not a subsidy. Governments have subsidies for things like oil companies, electric cars, solar panels, and there are actually a number of different subsidies that building owners can apply for to make improvements to their buildings. What this is a cap. Most of our job as elected officials, particularly local elected officials, are to make rules around land use policy, and that is what we're doing right now. So we are not doing anything that is unconstitutional. That is something that I heard a lot. If that were true, the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and many other jurisdictions around the country would have been sued many, many decades ago. Also, this is not our solution to the housing crisis. I think we all took pains to make that point in June, but this is rent stabilization. This is about community preservation. This is an effort to make sure that the people who currently live in our city have the opportunity to continue living here. We're also looking at inclusionary zoning ordinances, which I think is actually coming up in a couple different weeks, which, as a number of landlords suggested, will have us looking at things like having, a percentage of affordable housing be required or in lieu payments, a lot of different options. This is not the only option that we're looking at. Also, this is temporary. This conversation actually started, in my opinion, before I was elected on the council. There was a very well-attended meeting at the Veterans Memorial Complex that addressed both homelessness and affordable housing. So I see that as the start of the conversation. You may not, but in that context, it's easily been 3 or 4 years that we've been talking about this. When people got on public comment to ask us to agendize this, that was in April. When we first considered it, it was in June. So the fact that the actual ordinance was released on Thursday should not be the first sign that people know that we wanted to have this conversation. It's been out there in the wind. It was in the campaign in 2018. This is not new. No one is being caught by surprise. And I'll finish really quickly by agreeing with what a number of the speakers said before. I think we should consider, as Councilmember Fish suggested in the last meeting, more strictly adhering to the provisions in the LA County ordinance and setting our cap at 3%, getting rid of our the vagueness around at-fault evictions, and providing 3 months of relocation assistance rather than the 2 that is suggested in the staff report. That's it for me.